want to once in a while read an email that I get from one of you bereavers. A bereaver is a parent who's been bereaved of their child. And a lot of times I will ask what it is you're struggling with. And I want to read one of these emails and I want to just share my thoughts on it. And Carissa wrote me and said, "Hi Laura, I think the thing I'm most struggling with is trusting that God is good. I know it in my heart. I was brought up believing it, but to actually live that moment by moment has been so much harder than I could ever imagine." And I totally understand that. It is really hard to trust God when you feel like He has let you down or even betrayed you by allowing the death of your child. And the thoughts that I have for that, one of them is defining goodness, defining how do we define God's goodness. And I think of a lot of times we think that God being good means that He answers my prayers the way I want Him to answer them, and that He keeps me from having heartache in my life and these kinds of horrible tragedies and traumatic things happening in my life. And that's not what makes a father good. If you think about your earthly father or an earthly father, a good father, they protect and they love, yes, but they also see things that we can't see, and they make decisions that don't make sense to us, especially as a child. And it doesn't matter how much that father tries to explain. You know, you always hear the example of putting your hand on a hot stove. And if they want to protect us from things that we can't see and things that we don't know. And a good father will do that. And God sees the whole picture, the whole big picture of eternity. We just see this little tiny bit of our life here on earth from our eyes and our viewpoint. But God sees through the eyes of all of eternity, and He sees everybody's life and how the death of our child not only affects us, but the people around us, people in our future, our own future. Our child's future is now in eternity with Him, and our child, think about it, our child has His perspective of eternity now. And so our child probably isn't wondering all of this. Think about God's goodness for our child. I mean, I know we want our child with us. There's hands down, no question about it. And that darkness that we go through is beyond what I even knew existed here on this earth. But from for our child, they don't have to go through the suffering and just the evil of this world. They are now with Him in eternity forever, in glory and perfection and perfect love and things that are beyond what we could even imagine. Another thing is that thinking the thought that sometimes we think, why did God do this to me? Why did God do this to my family and my child? And God didn't do this to us. It's impossible for God to do something evil and corrupt and wrong. But it may be that He allowed it for us and for our child, like I said, for reasons that we cannot see, reasons that don't make sense to us right now in our place of darkness. And trust is holding on to somebody and believing in them and having faith in them, even when we can't see the answers. We can't see what we feel like we need and want to see. That's what trust is. That's what faith is. And like I said, it's hard to trust someone that you feel like has betrayed you or wronged you, but that's impossible for God to do. He would no longer be God if He did something wrong or allowed something wrong. And the last thing that I just want to share is there is a poem when I travel and I speak that I like to read, and it's by Corrie ten Boom, and it's called The Weaving. If you don't know who Corrie ten Boom is, she survived the Holocaust. Her family hid Jews during that time, and they were captured and imprisoned for that. She was the only survivor of her family through that. And she's written this poem, The Weaving, that I want to close this out by reading it to you. It says, "My life is but a weaving between my God and me. I do not choose the colors. He worketh steadily. Oft times He weaveth sorrow, and I, in foolish pride, forget He sees the upper, and I the underside. Not till the loom is silent, and shuttles cease to fly, will God unroll the canvas and explain the reason why. The dark threads are as needful in the skillful weaver's hand as threads of gold and silver in the pattern he has planned. And so I know trusting God is a hard thing. It's something that we struggle with after the death of our child. Many of us struggle with that. And I don't want to try to tell you to have this blind faith and this blind trusting, but ask God to show you why you can still trust him. Ask him to show you, even in your anger and your heartache. And I know we're in this push and pull. We're pushing him away because we're so angry, but at the same time, we know we desperately need him. And so just go to him and say, God, show me how and why I can trust you again. And make sure that you connect with other bereavers, other parents who have lost a child, who are ahead of you on this journey, that can say, I was in that same darkness, and I'm on the other side of that darkness. It doesn't mean I don't still grieve. It doesn't mean I don't still miss my child. I do desperately, and there are times I can still break down and sob over missing Becca, but I can trust him. I can trust him. He is faithful because of where he has brought me since that time. And so make sure that you connect with other bereaved parents who are further ahead of you that can help you gain that trust back as you see what God has done in their lives, not in spite of their child's death, but because of his or her life. So this is Laura Diehl. I am the co-founder of GPS Hope, Grieving Parents Sharing Hope. And please connect with us so that we can walk with you this journey out together. You'll find us at gpshope.org. We have a Facebook page. I have a Grieving Parents Sharing Hope podcast, this vlog. So there are a lot of ways that you can connect with us, and I hope you do that.